Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to this brand new episode of JJ's One Man Podcast. Now, I'm recording this in the morning, so you might hear a few things in the background, like outside or whatever else near me here. But I wanted to sit down, do a full episode discussion, or just kind of, give a little monologue in my thoughts about Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 1 and 2 that already premiered on Disney Plus as of late last night. It was around 12 a.m. for me here because they dropped it super early after showing it at Star Wars Celebration. Now, I should also preface this that if you guys want to see a more abridged version of what we're going to talk about here, I actually did a review / afterthoughts and real talk about the two episodes over on my TikTok. So if you're listening to this now on Patreon, because this is going to be an exclusive for you guys for a while, definitely go check out my TikTok to go see that little abridged version. That was my first initial immediate thoughts when I got up this morning. But for the sake of this conversation here in this version, we're going to get a little bit more in depth about episode 1 and 2 and just give my overall thoughts about the show because I've been super hyped. I know a lot of other people too have been incredibly hyped for this show, myself included, and I can't wait to talk about it with all of you. And I encourage you, as you're listening to all this stuff, give your thoughts in the comments down below, whether it's on Patreon, whether it's on YouTube. Send it to me over Twitter as well, at JakeJamesLugo on Twitter. Send it to me on TikTok, wherever you guys feel like posting it. So let's talk about both these episodes. We're going to get into spoilers, of course. I'm not going to get super crazy in depth about every little thing, but I am going to talk about a lot here because there is a lot, and I mean a lot to unpack about these first two episodes. And I'm glad that they released them both together because there's a lot of things that are going on and even more questions that I feel like I have and a lot of other people have going into episode 3 for next week. So the big thing that I love about this show so far, I love the atmosphere. I love just the way the show feels, like the overall tone, and just a good indication of where the galaxy is at this point. This is 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, 10 years prior to Episode 4, A New Hope. We've already seen a bunch of stuff happen with the Clone Wars and Revenge of the Sith, and some of the things that have been going on in Rebels or went down in Rebels haven't happened yet. So there's a lot of room to play around here. The Inquisitors are patrolling the galaxy, basically looking for any straggling Jedi. They're hunting them. We got some insight from the Grand Inquisitor himself saying that they're kind of just looking for scraps because the Jedi are all but extinct at this point. And even Obi-Wan says that at some point when he runs into a Jedi who's fleeing for his life that tries to go to Obi-Wan for help. And Obi-Wan's like, listen, just go put this in the sand, go do your own thing and don't cause problems. And he's doing that because he has to protect Luke Skywalker. He has a real big mission that he has to fulfill that he's been doing under the orders of Master Yoda from Revenge of the Sith, as we all remember. But that has been taking a big toll on Obi-Wan. It seems like he's very much like in this like routine that he's clearly not happy with. He's definitely got a big sense of duty, making sure that Luke Skywalker is safe. The Lars homestead is all good. He's got a job. He's a meat packer or he's a butcher, which I thought was funny. I didn't think that we were going to see Obi-Wan as a butcher, but I thought like maybe he was going to be working on like some sort of like mechanical stuff. It would kind of make sense, but this really gives an indication that things are in a bad state. Things are rough right now for Obi-Wan, and I like it. This makes sense right for this point in time. It actually matches up from what we know with canon lore in the entire series, and it's cool. Now, let's talk about the big thing that I feel like a lot of people are really going to get bent out of shape about. And stuff that I feel like we need to have some real talk about when it comes to the Star Wars fandom, when it comes to this show and the way that's going to be received. Let's talk about Reva, okay? So I'm going to be real with you. I watched this whole, 2-episode premiere. I watched it with a watch party so I could get like the reactions of other people. I was actually tuning into Star Wars Theories, his watch party, and I had it like playing in the background as I'm like with my headphones watching the 2 episodes alone. And it just every once in a while, like when there wasn't anything happening on screen, I would peek over to see what people's reactions were. And I think a lot of people are kind of on the same page for how we feel about Reva. And what do I mean by this? I do not like Reva. I'm going to say that just flat out, bluntly, as respectfully as I can. Nothing to do with the actor, nothing to do with the writing team and stuff, or at least the people that are creating the show. I do not like the character of Reva, and it's for a couple different reasons, okay? And we'll get to some of the other stuff people are throwing out there on social media in a bit. But my reasons for not liking Reva is because, number one, I find her to be way too much of an impulsive character to the point where it's almost comedic and cartoony, and it feels very forced, where she's literally just angry and just mad and just like aggressive for the sake of doing so. And this could be possibly because we just don't have all the answers about her character. Clearly, they're telegraphing that she's one of the children at the very beginning of this episode that was during that flashback to Order 66. We actually get to see Order 66 at the Jedi Temple for a little bit in a different perspective. And I think we're going to go back to that eventually in one of the later episodes. But I really believe she's one of the kids that are there during Order 66 that we saw at the beginning. That there's no reason for them to not show that to us. But the thing about this is that because we don't have those answers right now, Reva just comes off as just like an overly impulsive, overly aggressive, overly gung-ho Inquisitor, where even the other Inquisitors, the fifth brother, is like, yo, you need to chill. You need to relax. And the Grand Inquisitor just like scolds her and she just straight up just ignores him. It's like, that's the Grand Inquisitor. Like, I get we have to move the plot along, but like, she's just being like a rebel. She's just being like super aggressive and just like not listening just for the sake of just plot. And it's just like, it doesn't feel like there's an authentic reasoning behind that, or at least one that we haven't been told or shown yet. And it just made Reva very unlikable. It made Reva like, okay, I get it. She's supposed to be intimidating. She's supposed to be conniving. She's an Inquisitor. She's a dark side user or part of the actual Inquisitorius. And I get all that. But just looking at it happen on screen now with these two episodes, and even just the way that she does certain things, which let's get to the big thing towards the end, right? The big thing with her that I feel like rubbed people the wrong way, and me a little bit to an extent, was what happened with the Grand Inquisitor. She stabs him, and I think we all know he's not dead yet. There's no way they're killing him off right now when he clearly survives into Rebels later on. But really what rubbed people the wrong way was that she's the one that tells Obi-Wan that Anakin is alive, that Lord Vader is still alive, that he didn't die on Mustafar. And I got a problem with this for a couple reasons. Because again, we just don't have all the answers yet, and I feel like the show with these two episodes didn't really give a good setup or a real good explanation yet as to why she would know this. And here, let me give you my reasons for this, right? There's only a few people in the galaxy at this current point in time, in the canon, okay, that knows that Darth Vader is Anakin Skywalker. There's only two people, really, okay? It's Obi-Wan and Emperor Palpatine, and then Lord Vader himself. Bail Organa, Uncle Owen, and Aunt Beru, and many of the other people that have survived from the Clone Wars at the end of Order 66 and Revenge of the Sith, a lot of people don't know that Anakin was Vader. Uncle Owen, he has this whole conversation with Obi-Wan saying that Anakin's dead. Like, he believes Anakin's done. He's finished. That's it. It's over. So nobody else in this galaxy, save for those two people, knows that Anakin was Darth Vader. So how is it that Reva would know this? Again, we don't get any sort of explanation. They do say, and I have to be fair here, they do say that she goes to the actual archives and she looks up some stuff. That's how she's able to connect Obi-Wan to Bail Organa, which seems like a very loose and very really super relaxed and lazy explanation for a few things in these episodes. But still, I can understand like her getting some information there, but even then, at this point in time in the galaxy, Emperor Palpatine would have already been messing around with the Jedi archives or really manipulating a lot of the information that's available to many different people, including the Inquisitors. So I really have to ask, like, how does Reva know all this? I know she can read minds. I know that she can use the Force. I know that she is very resourceful and diligent. However, she still wouldn't be able to get information like that super easily unless one of two things happened. Number one, she saw an actual recording from the Jedi Temple saying that Lord Vader was alive. Or two, Darth Vader told her, or Emperor Palpatine told her, which I find to be very unlikely. Like, I really need to get some answers here with this. Sorry, I'm coughing because I'm drinking coffee here right now. But here's the thing. I really don't think she's going to get information like that from them. So there's got to be some other reason that the show needs to show me. It needs to show everybody else that she knows this and why she's the person to break it to Obi-Wan. Because a lot of people were really hoping that Obi-Wan would find out either through the recording stuff from like, televised like broadcasts about Darth Vader when the name comes up, which is exactly what happens in a Legends book called Kenobi, ironically enough. Or he was going to meet up with Darth Vader for the first time and then just be like, wait a second, I recognize this. I haven't felt something like, since so long ago. Something along those lines. And it felt like this really important moment or this type of like thing that's really going to thrust Kenobi into some real good drama was kind of wasted here. At least that's how it felt. Again, nothing against the actress, Moses Ingram, nothing against the team that are making this show. But let's be honest with ourselves here, okay? People are allowed to dislike Reva. People are allowed to feel a certain way about this character. and has nothing to do with them being any sort of ist or ism or whatever like that. This is the thing that I've seen with this show, okay? And we're going to go back to the show in a second, but I do have to drop this real talk because I'm already seeing it on social media, specifically on TikTok. There are people already getting ready to defend this character to the death without really taking a step back and looking at the full picture here. I mean, Reva, I get she has all these great stuff about her, and I'm really giving this character a chance and the benefit of doubt. But that doesn't mean that I have to completely excuse things that I don't like about this character. And I feel like a lot of people are also feeling that same way. I saw this entire chat with Star Wars Theory's watch party really discussing this thing. And even Star Wars Theory was defending her too, where he was like, listen, like we have to be fair. We have to give it time, but I'm just not liking this character right now. And I understand that. And I feel the same way. And I think that people are starting to feel a certain type of way about getting called names or being implied something about them, that either that they're racist or that they feel a certain type of way. And that's not the case, simply for disliking what the character presents to you in a show. I mean, I even saw on TikTok, I saw Cat Lady J or Cat Lady JJ getting ready to block people just for saying anything negative about Reva. And I get it, like there's trolls and stuff on that platform, but what if I came out and says like, look, I just don't like the character right now at this point in time. You're really going to block me too? You're going to call me all sorts of names and all these other things? Like, come on, let's be reasonable here. We could be critical of this show and critical of these characters without having to resort to something like that, because I think the majority of the Star Wars fan base and the majority of the Star Wars fandom, you know, across all generations right now isn't like that. So we shouldn't put them in this box and automatically prejudge them or just completely just get this like predetermined notion that the majority of people that are going to dislike this character are a certain way. And I don't think that's fair at all. So getting back to the show, right? A couple other things I should mention that I really do like. I love young Leia. Young Leia feels like it was a really solid casting choice. I really like her spunk. She has a couple really nice burns against her cousin, which I thought was great. Even the whole chat and other people that I saw the reactions were really digging it. It was just clever. It was very Leia-like. It just felt like a young Carrie Fisher, which was the best thing that you could have asked for. That little girl is doing a great job. And I thought that she also had some really interesting moments before when we first met her, before any of that stuff. And also her conversation with Bail Organa. Just the way that Bail was like talking about like, you know, what he has to do or what she's going to eventually end up doing. And what, you know, kind of encouraging her to like, you know, push that spunk a little bit more. It felt like a real father and daughter relationship. I really like that. And the fact that we're on Alderaan, which is really freaking cool. This is the first time we've really seen it in live action canon before what happens in episode 4, A New Hope. It's really going to give some weight. So when you go back and watch that movie and you see that scene when the Death Star blows it up, it's going to be like, oh my God, Jimmy Schmitz. We lost our boy Jimmy. But anyway, I digress. That was really good. She did have a couple bad moments that I did not like. I didn't like in episode 2, the whole chase scene that Obi-Wan has when he's finally off planet. He goes to Dio, which is the new planet that they're doing for this show. He runs into her, he finds her, and just because there's a bounty that's put out on Obi-Wan, she freaks out and thinks that he's like some sort of bounty hunter, and she just starts running around and stuff. I felt that whole chase sequence was completely unnecessary. I felt like it was completely uncalled for. It just felt like kind of being injected there for drama's sake without feeling authentic. It just felt like the young Leia wouldn't do something like that, at least in that scenario from what we know of her up to this point. I thought it was cool that the bounty hunter started like going after Obi-Wan, don't get me wrong, but her kind of adding to the drama because she felt like he was lying to her and all this other stuff until finally he uses the Force for the first time in the show and saves her. Now she's all on board. It's like we could have like skipped all of that and Obi-Wan could have, you know, maybe handled things a little bit differently, but I felt like her complete like just freak out on Obi-Wan was just unnecessary. That whole sequence could have been handled a little bit better. Now, the other thing too that I want to go back to with with Reva, her whole thing at the very end of the episode when she does tell Obi-Wan about Anakin, but also she stabs the Grand Inquisitor, which again, we know that he's alive in Rebels, but it just felt like, again, it comes out of nowhere. And it was like one of those things that's like, what? Like, I know once he's back up and alive and kicking, he's going to like freaking discipline her, or Reva's going to have to go on the run at this point. Like, you can't tell me like it's all good after this. You know what I mean? Like she stabbed him point blank after he ordered her, Alyssa, to chill, and she didn't want to chill. And it's just, I hope that there's some real consequences here and we don't go over that, because I felt like that was another thing that just felt a little bit unearned and a little bit out of left field. And I saw the reaction of everybody when that happened. Everybody was like, what? The hell is that? Like, and a lot of people even now at this point still think that the Grand Inquisitor is dead. And obviously, the majority of them probably didn't see Rebels or they didn't remember what happens in that show. But still, I feel like we gotta see some consequences from that. So other things I guess we can mention before we kind of end this off. Uncle Owen, I think, was great. The banter between them, which is what they showed in some of the previews, I thought was great. I think that the good catalyst for their whole conversation, which is a toy that Obi-Wan brings, which is the T-16 Skyhopper from A New Hope that we see Luke Skywalker, Mark Hamill playing around with. He's bringing that to Luke to encourage his little kind of like desire, or his kind of like, fantasy of actually becoming a pilot or becoming someone that just gets off planet. And Uncle Owen sees that and he's like, oh, really? Like, I want you to stop. And their banter just, I felt, was really good. It was something that I definitely wanted. I wish that maybe we could explore it a little bit more. I hope that when we eventually go back to Tatooine at some point, we get to see a little bit more of that, because I definitely want to see more of their relationship kind of breaking down, because there's got to be other reasons why Uncle Owen just feels the way that he does. Besides what happened with him. By the way, Reva threatening Uncle Owen and stuff, it is kind of questionable that why Obi-Wan would leave the planet on another mission after seeing that, because it's like, yo, they're on, his radar. They're on their radar. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are now on the Inquisitor's radar after Reva's just acting a fool, practically, or acting like super aggressive. I think that maybe he has to have a little bit more caution there. But either way, I can't wait to see if there's any more that develops with that, or if we actually get to see more of young Luke. Because so far we've only seen him in that little clip and he doesn't have any acting part. We've seen a lot more young Leia currently, because that's what's relevant going on at the moment. But here's the big thing too, and this is a great way to end things off. The money shot, the tease of Darth Vader, of Anakin Skywalker in the back to tank. He looks jacked. Definitely Hayden Christensen really went to the gym and we got pumped up to fulfill that, that armor. But it's really cool. A great way to end an episode where Obi-Wan, and now that he's been told that Anakin is alive, he's like, oh my God, like Anakin. And we know that Darth Vader felt that in the Force. Like he just like felt like a little thing that just woke him up. And I hope to God in episode 3 next week that we actually get to see Darth Vader getting his armor on, and we get to see a whole scene with him, with the Inquisitors, and him getting ready to go find out like what's going on, because that definitely was a hype moment, and everybody that I saw reacted to it in a very positive way. Like we're excited to see Hayden in this armor. So anyway, just overall, my thoughts about Obi-Wan Kenobi episode 1 and 2. I still like the show. I'm still hyped to see episode 3, despite my little criticisms of it. I do feel like my criticisms are fair. I know that everybody's going to have their own opinion about this stuff, especially about Reva. I do hope that things get a little bit better with her reception if she has a lot of like great moments in there. But as of currently right now, it's not clicking with me. It's not, was it really resonating with me or anybody else in the way that some people wish that it was. But we'll see. We're only on episode 2. We're going into episode 3 next week. I'm definitely going to be doing a actual post thoughts and afterthoughts about it here on Patreon for you guys as well. I'm definitely also going to be doing my immediate like abridged thoughts on TikTok. So definitely make sure you follow me on TikTok at JakeJamesLugo on there to get it immediately once it goes live. So anyway, let me know your own thoughts down below in the comment section. Leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and thank you so much for being a Patreon subscriber. I really appreciate you guys supporting me and my content on here. There's more stuff coming very soon. I even just posted up a brand new video review for Eiyuden Chronicle Rising that I played on Xbox Series S. Next week is going to be a different game. I'm thinking it's going to be a Star Wars game. I'm not sure. It might be something a little bit different just to give a little bit more variety before we go back into some more Star Wars. But anyway, I will talk to all of you guys again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.